Salutations to my esteemed guests and subscribers, gamers, whoever you might be. It is great to have you here again on the channel. And it is me, of course, your host, Lightliker here. And today, I'm very delighted to present you my top 10 upcoming blockchain-based games. And some of these are going to be featuring NFTs, some of these are going to be having their own token, and then there's going to be plenty also of these play-to-earn games. And before we jump into my list, I want to put up a quick shout out to this website called PlayToEarn.net, which is a pretty good source for finding different blockchain-based games and see in what stage they are in right now, and are they play to earn. There are some inaccuracies here. For example, I'm pretty sure with Blancos, for example, everything that you earn inside the game are NFTs that you are not able to trade. So is that play to earn exactly? I wouldn't say so. But despite that, I think this is a pretty valuable resource for all types of blockchain gamers out there. So if you're looking to grind something and make money out of it, this is definitely a website you want to look into. But let's jump into the actual first game here, which I have chosen, which is called Illivium. And I bought actually a bag of it in Gate, so their token is launched. They have also a trailer which kind of goes into a bit about what the game looks like. So this is like an open world RPG game with monsters that you seemingly are able to collect. And throughout battles, you are able to win Ethereum. And this is going to be happening on the immutable layer 2 blockchain. I don't know how the Ethereum is going to be working on. Is that going to be through tournaments, or is that going to be going through wager battles? Wager battles are a bit problematic in my opinion because they don't necessarily get the same amount of volume. So I hope that there's going to be some aspects of play to earn elements. Maybe you buy the pets or the monsters via the token, and then you can wager for Ethereum or something like that. But tokenomics are very important in games like these in order to make them successful. So hopefully they don't make the wrong decisions here. But in terms of the graphics and the designs, I think they'll look pretty impressive here. The landscapes, these are very nice looking. And here's a bit of a gameplay. So apparently you can take like around 3 to 4 monsters into the battle, and they have different abilities, and you can play against other players. Maybe you can play against bots too. And some of these models look very, very nice here. This looks very impressive. I believe they are using Unreal Engine. I could be wrong about that. And everything is gonna be, running through the layer 2 immutable. And there's a lot of sponsors here involved. You can also basically buy the token, and I actually should remember after this video to basically go stake my Illivium on the platform. And there's also a DEX coming out. I think that's probably for trading these NFTs, and maybe some other trading Illivium to Ethereum or something between those lines. But let's jump into our second game, which is as almost promising as the first one. I mean, all of these games pretty much that I've chosen here today are pretty impressive, and there is a lot of games, and I couldn't include absolutely everything here today on this list simply because there's too many of them. And Myst actually just had a sale 30 minutes ago, which I participated on. A lot of people were not lucky to get NFTs. And this is a game that is built on Unity, so you can run it actually on your browser. And they're going to be releasing it also on Steam. So I'm not sure, are they going to be continuing to also support a browser version? That would make a lot of sense. And it's on Binance Smart Chain. This is going to be an open world RPG with different types of items. And some are limited edition, like the sale we just had. And they're going to be having Myst token, which can be staked, and farming inside and outside the game universe. So perhaps there's going to be land plots, or apparently there are farmlands, and you can probably get some dividends through that. And there's also the tokens can be used to upgrade certain NFTs, and there's probably going to be some form of character sale maybe next, or maybe people are able to choose them for free. I'm not 100% sure. But this is one of the most anticipated games on blockchain right now. And I could definitely see that. I think they're, even though it was very like a tech demo of sorts, which I was trying out today because the sale was done actually inside the game, so I could like see, understand a bit of like the FPS, what was the controls like, and it felt like, okay, this could amount to something in the future. So, but I had to see like the combat, the farming, is it gonna be laggy, are they gonna be prepared for half servers and things like that. But Myst is definitely one that you want to keep your eyes on. Next up we have Hashrush, and Hashrush is another game which I've talked about. I have a separate video on it, and it is currently still on the very early stages, and the tokenomics are not there. It is this sort of like a harvesting game slash an RTS, and it's a very interesting one, and it's actually well graphics, and I think I should really recommend watching the video that I did. It's pretty old, I think it's from 2019, and they're still working on the game. Let's see if we can play the video here and show you a bit of the gameplay. But it's like this sort of a sphere that you are into, and you craft different resources and create these workers, and they're gonna be harvesting you mining ores and like wood. And then there are like, you know, if people have played Warcraft, for example, there are these like neutral creeps on like monsters inside the map. And I think there are going to be attacks coming and merging to your city as well, which you need to like defend. And there's like, you know, it's very interesting. It's actually like a really well made game. And their approach has been, for the most part, working on the game first and then delivering all those tokenomics aspects to it. But yeah, because it's a strategy game, it's gonna have a bit of a learning curve. I'm not gonna say that the basics were like hard or anything. I'm just saying that there's probably gonna be a bit more game depth into this one compared to a lot of others that I've seen. But let's move on into the list. So we have next up Skyweaver, and this is basically gonna be a card game, and it's one of those more promising looking in terms of its art style, which reminds me a bit of Hearthstones and Legend of Runeterra, but perhaps a bit more anime-esque type of a style here at the same time. And this is one of those games that I'm very interested once they launch, and there has been a closed alphas and I think closed betas for the game, and I think it plays out very similar to Hearthstone. And there's obviously been a multitude of these different card games, and I think this could be, you know, very popular. I don't think, like, for example, Gods Unchained really managed to kind of like pull in the player base, and I think I really personally had problems running their client. But this is one of those that I'm personally very interested in. It depends on really the tokenomics, how it's going to be turning out. Can I have base cards for free, or do I have to invest before I can play? And these are all types of elements which are going to be having an effect on how these games are going to be differentiating from the competition and turning out. Because in Gods Unchained, you had to buy cards in order to play. So if there's going to be a competition coming out, which is going to be providing you free cards, that's probably going to be getting more people in and start playing your game. And there it says free to play, and yeah, but I'm definitely going to be doing an individual video about Skyweaver and a lot of these other games once they get into more finished state, because we want to really see the tokenomics at play. We can't just rate the gameplay in its own because it's meaningless in this time. Well, I mean, people can play it even if they don't like grind this stuff, obviously, but I think that's gonna be huge a draw point here for the games and getting them started from the very beginning. Next up we have Defina, and this is a very new game. This is gonna be kind of like through a launchpad through Force DAO. The art here looks very impressive, but we don't exactly have any gameplay so far for this, so I'm like, this is kind of like a bit of a wild card on the list, and I don't want to like accuse it being a scam or maybe some type of a, you know, vaporware product, but that's going to kind of have to treat it as such, because the website does have things. They have white paper, but there's not exactly a team. There's a bit of tokenomics and the roadmap, but I kind of need to see a bit more of it, the game itself, and able to play it and see a bit about, you know, all of these elements that are inside the game. And this could be one of those promising card games, obviously, because Skyweaver is not going to be on Binance chain. And there's going to be, you know, games that might like become de facto game in certain big blockchain. But then there's going to be a lot of games which are going to be outside the big blockchains, and maybe they have their own blockchain. So there's a lot of these elements which are going to be having a very big, you know, impact on where are going to be the end game looking at. Then we have Step Hero, and this is going to be RPG on Binance Smart Chain and Polygon. Another one which is a bit of a wild card, and I'm not sure this asset here looks like from Misfortune from League of Legends, so I don't know if this is plagiarized art right here. But that's definitely something you want to question. But they do have a pretty impressive trailer here, going a bit of the lore of the game. But once again, we don't have exactly any gameplay here. But we have a certain art here already made, and you know, the Heroes collection, and these arts actually look pretty decent. And there is people here, you know, it seems to be based on Vietnam, based on the names, and where's that, Philip? No, I think it's Vietnam. And you know, there's a lot of sponsors here involved, and you know, I think also partners, so this could be also be a big thing, but it's very on the early stages, and I gotta see a lot more before I decide whatever to play or invest. Next up we have Ember Sword, which had a couple of land sale. First land sale was done. The second land sale is like right now in the process, and this is gonna be a RPG game. Looks very promising. The tokenomics are perhaps not the most sound. It's not exactly like a play-to-earn game, but the graphics inside the game look pretty impressive. The combat, what we have seen about it, also looks pretty promising. And this was going to be on Polygon, if I remember right. At least the land assets are on Polygon. And overall, I think there's a lot of promise for this game as well, and it could be a pretty big one, long as the tokenomics, as I keep saying, are going to be going the right way. And they have been around for some time now, so that's also a good sign. And we have seen a bit of gameplay. The land sale wasn't really like horribly done or anything. But let's move on without making this video 20 minutes long. Next up we have a mobile game, and this is probably the most... also very, very something that has gained a lot of interest, and this is called Guild of Guardians, and this is going to be on mobile devices. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big mobile guy, nor am I really big fan of the gameplay that I've seen. The art styles are pretty good. Here's some alpha gameplay, but I guess for mobile devices it's decent. And I think they had already like a one sale already, which happened, and the founder NFTs, and I think there was like another sale happening where something like announced. Let me see. So these are like coming soon. So legendary sale was already happened. I'm not sure. Does this mean that we're gonna be having epic hero and rare hero sale at some point? But this could be one of these wild cards here. Obviously, mobile games, if they get popular, they get really popular. So the value proposition technically could be a lot higher for the long term. And next up, we have perhaps one of the most promising games on the list, and this is called Big Time. And this is like an RPG game. It has like some type of something makes me think about like Dark Souls a bit. There's a gameplay video here somewhere. I'm gonna be trying to find it for you, but if I won't find it here, you can find it on YouTube. And there's this like big world which looks like the level design on this one looks pretty impressive. We don't have an actual gameplay yet. We just have like in-game footage, like cinematics and stuff like that. Apparently, you can have different types of weapons, which are going to be fueling for a different type of play style. You can collect items inside the game. I remember the blockchain. I remember it being Polygon, but I could be wrong about that as well. But this is something I have to personally look. Yeah, they had a sale on Binance, and I think this is something I missed personally. Sadly, there's so many news happening, and it's kind of normal where, you know, you are gonna be having these things where you're gonna be losing on certain sales and miss them. But there is going to be another sale apparently on somewhere in August, late August to my understanding. And this is where you can basically participate on the sale. And I think here's the part 2 and they talk about it. So August 13, releasing second round of VIP early access passes and mystery boxes. So this is something you definitely want to look into. Yes, pretty expensive buy-in, you know, for these jade and silver and gold passes. But yeah, I'm looking very much into this game as a whole. Definitely look more into it. And last up, we have a game called Rory. And they don't have a website, but they do have actual gameplay here. I'm going to be putting it up and showing it to you. So this actually has a pretty nice art style. Looks like a very indie game, and I think you're going to be playing like a character from top down. And then he has like RPG elements on the same time, like Pokemon-esque type of characters. And I guess these are going to be like NFTs inside the Pokemons or whatever they want to call them. And then you can battle with them and things like these. And it seems like I have a lot of variety on the different art styles. So here you have a scroll up type of a thing, then you have this 3D, and then you have these battle menus. And so it's kind of like a bit all over the place. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. And I don't know exactly when this is going to be launching and etc. But you can join on their Telegram, and that's where they pretty much will be posting majority of the stuff. But I think this one shows also a lot of promise here. And this is going to be on Solana. And that's going to be a big thing for that blockchain, because it's kind of built it up to be supporting a lot of like blockchain based games. There's obviously Star Atlas, another one which I've talked about. But hey, that's kind of my rundown of these 10 games that I decided to show you up today. There are a lot more coming and just launched, and hopefully we have some segues and times to talk about them in a specific video. But that's what all I got for now. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, yada yada yada. And in case you wanna send a business inquiry to me, want to your game feature, liker@protonmail.com, and maybe we can work some type of a deal out. But until then, I will be seeing you guys next time on the next video.